Hello everyone. So today I'm going to give you a little guidance as far as what you can do with your lemongrass and how you go about taking care and preparing those, okay? So I got a whole bunch of lemongrass here. Some I grow, some I got from a wonderful community garden here in Las Vegas from a very generous friend of ours. Thank you so much, Holly. And so as you can see here, some of them, we picked them and tied them. Instead of cutting them, which of course you could cut them if you want to keep them as an ornamental gardening landscape. In this case, they were just too much and it was just really crowded. So we went ahead and just pulled them and from the roots, and then we left a handful in the center and nicely pruned them and left that to grow out. So these are the remainders. These are the ones that we actually did pull and thin out. So as you can see here, it's a long leaves, and here are the roots. So what are you gonna do with all these, you're wondering, right? What can you do with it? How do I go about cutting them? How do I go about preparing them? How do I store them? And then what can I do with it later, okay? So here's the fun part. It does take a little bit of work, and you know, you're gonna get a little bit of elbow grease in there. So, you know, once we got the dirty work done, which was the part where you pulled it from the ground, and you know, you have to kind of gently twist and then pull to get the roots out without bringing out all of the plant, without ruining the roots. So you gently just grab it, just by one at a time, gently twist it and pull. So, okay, so we're gonna start with this one. Very, very long here. And we got these roots. Well, if you stick this in the ground, they're not gonna grow. Why? If that's the, you're wondering? Because this root here is now considered a dead root. So you need to cut that off because you want new, brand new roots, not the old roots, okay? So, and we're gonna cut off the leaves here because you're not gonna want this trailing and getting all over the place. And I have some stuff going on here in the kitchen at the same time, so ignore all this mess I have. So, what I do is I cut off the leaves. So you're gonna cut out the leaf. It doesn't really matter if you cut a lot or a little. The more the better actually, because most of them you're not gonna use, especially this brown one right here. You're gonna throw that away. It's dead. It doesn't have any more nutritional value. Unless you want to use it as a compost, of course, which is a real pain, to be honest with you, unless you can shred it. So we're gonna keep this green one right here. As you can see here, I have this green part here. Okay, so we're gonna save that. Cut. I'm using one hand right now, so bear with me here because there's no one to help me with the camera. So I'm gonna cut all that off. Okay, so here's the part, the leaves that I just cut off. We're gonna go ahead and save that. And we're gonna go ahead and cut this up after it's slightly dry. You can cut them right away, you don't have to dry it, but you do not want to put it in a bag or any sealed container until it's dried. Otherwise, it'll just get moldy, and you don't want that. So once I dry that a little bit, I cut them to smaller pieces. As you can see right here, it smells really wonderful. So we're gonna put this, like, maybe just this amount in a pot of boiling water. We could add some citrus peel to it that's been dried. You know, lemon, orange, lime kind of citrus peel. The dried one are better, but you can put fresh one in it too, just a sliver or two. And if you're gonna put it in directly in a cup, a coffee cup about this size here, then you probably want to heat up the water in the microwave or pot, whatever you prefer, and only put about that much in there. Or that would be an individual size. So now you're wondering, what do I do with the stalk? Because now we have this ugly thing here, and then we have the stalk. So what are we gonna eat? What are we saving, right? Got my little butcher knife here. I wouldn't say really little, but we're gonna go ahead and chop that off. Boop, just like that. This is going away. We're gonna get rid of this. Okay, that goes in the trash. Just like that. Say goodbye, don't need it anymore. So then we're gonna pick off some of these because the loose ones are dry and you don't want them in the way. I could even cut this a little bit further because you don't need all of that. It's gonna come off anyway. Cut that off too. You don't have to cut that part off, but you can. There's still a little bit of piece there that it is edible, but you know, it's kind of tough, so I don't really care for it since we have a lot. So now we're gonna cut this into, probably say a few inches, maybe 3 to 4 inches. It's flying everywhere. No worries, I'm gonna clean them. So now we got the part that we want, roughly 4 or 5 inches. This one's a little bit long, but it doesn't bother me. Of course, you can measure it and cut it to a specific size, but no need to. And some people will cut this part off, but you do not need to. So this is going into a bowl or a container filled with water, and you're just gonna let it wash a couple of times, or just let it soak in the water for a couple of hours so it's nice and plump and is no longer dried out. Okay, so now you're wondering, what do? This is going in a Ziploc bag. You want to drain all the water, maybe let it sit for a few minutes until it's completely done dripping water, and then you put it in a Ziploc bag. Just so, I have a few here already getting started. And I have the one that's in my freezer. My freezer is pretty full actually. And that's how I freeze them. And you can use this throughout the whole year. Make sure when you freeze them, you continue to freeze them, take out, use a few or however many you need, and put it back in the freezer. If you take it out of the freezer and then you put it back in the fridge, it will go bad. It will thaw and go bad. So you don't want to take it out until you're ready to use it. Now, I have some of them here that is just a shell. It's part of the stock. It came off, and you can either throw this away or you can do what I'm planning on doing here. I'm gonna boil these and make into iced tea to drink. And there's some strays here that I do not need, so I'm gonna throw that away. Now what you wanna do with these when you're ready to cook them, there's different ways you can cook them. You can just kinda smash this, and that releases some of the oil and the flavor, and you could just throw it into a pot of soup. When you cook them or throw it in a pot of soup, it's just for flavor, so you're gonna take this out of the soup when you're done, or you can leave it in the bowl, but just making sure you don't eat it and you just throw it away, okay? Another method you can do is you can just chop it up. Smaller pieces or even smaller if you can, just like that. And then you're gonna throw it in your blender, and you can fill it up with a little bit of water or oil. I like using oil too. You're gonna use that as a meat marinade. You're gonna take that, chop it up, blend it up, and then within 24 hours, unless you freeze them once again, within 24 hours you can use that and rub it onto some chicken, rub it onto your steak and marinate it for at least a few hours. It also works really well with fish. You can bruise these and put them in the cavity of the fish, or if you want to wrap it in a aluminum foil and throw a few of this in there along with your ginger and garlic or whatever marinade you want, and steam your fish, you know, with some onions and garlic, potato, whatever you want to do. This will work really, really well. Okay, and I love the fact that it grows all year round. It stays green. It does go dormant in winter, but it doesn't die. I recommend that you do prune the leaves at the very end. So what I mean by is when you see this stalks here, you're gonna take all the leaves out and you're gonna prune it down to about right here. Okay, so you would have nothing, no leaves, and just a stalk from here all the way down to the roots. So you're gonna keep that part, and the rest of them you're gonna prune it out and either harvest the leaves or toss it, whatever you prefer, whatever is easy for you. And it will grow back the next year beautifully, and you will get just as much leaf as this, if not more, by next year. And your stalk will get bigger and fatter. Okay, this is pretty good size right here, so this is a healthy one. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the lemongrass. If you do cook with them or make tea with them, I encourage you to post them in my group or any group and just tag me. That would be great. And if you don't have lemongrass already, or you know someone who wants them and you can't find it anywhere else, feel free to contact me because I do sell them year round. Okay, just go ahead and private message me and I will be more than happy to help you out. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.